Aloha and welcome to Robin's Craft Room on the Big Island of Hawaii. Today I'm going to share with you my technique for making a paper crafted design using the iris paper piecing technique. This technique is based on what fabric artists call iris folding, where fabric strips of different colors or designs or both are folded and laid into a pattern. The iris is the eye shape in the middle of the design when it has been completed, very much like the iris, the eye of a camera lens. For paper crafting, folding the strips used for the design is not necessary because paper usually will not fray. Iris folding can be very intricate and require very fine handworking skills. The iris paper piecing that I will cover in this tutorial is much simpler and does not require very much tedious work at all. To make your design, you will need some paper or cardstock with an area cut or punched out of it, strips of paper for making the design, an adhesive of your choice, some paper snips, and a pattern based on the shape you have chosen. The width of the paper strips depends on the size of the pattern and the cut area itself. For my design today, I'm using a single circle that is 2.5 inches in diameter. I cut it with the Circle Scissors Plus, sold by Stampin' Up, and my cardstock is Stampin' Up's Night of Navy. The paper strips are 5/8 of an inch wide and are from the Stampin' Up pattern stack of bright papers. I'm using Tempting Turquoise, Daffodil Delight, Regal Rose, and Pumpkin Pie, and I'm going to be using this striped side of the paper to show through to the front. This pattern sheet, which is available to be printed from my website, robinscraftroom.com, is one that I drew myself with the lines and numbers shown in 4 different colors. To begin, lay the pattern on your work surface. Then lay the cardstock face down, and now this particular piece of cardstock has not been decorated, so either side works. Lay it face down with the pattern showing through and tape it to the sheet using removable tape. You're going to be able to use this sheet as many times as you want. Once you have that situated, cut a small piece of each of your paper strips and adhere them wrong side up next to the rows of numbers that correspond with each of the 4 sections in the pattern. I've already put a little bit of adhesive on here. I'm going to cut the Pumpkin Pie, the Tempting Turquoise, Regal Rose, and the Daffodil Delight. This is going to help you remember which colors go in which section, and it will remind you which side is up. The bottom section of this pattern sheet is for planning a 2-color circle, and I'll show you one of those later. Now here we are looking at our pattern just a little bit more closely. To begin, I'm going to apply just a little bit of snail adhesive on either side of the line underneath section 1. And since section 1 is going to be Pumpkin Pie, I'm going to lay that strip of Pumpkin Pie right along the line, and I'm going to snip it with my paper snips. We're going to do the same thing with number 2. And for 2, I'm using Tempting Turquoise. I'm going to lay that down and snip it. And our next color is Regal Rose down here at number 3. Trim it. And finally, for our first round, I have number 4, which is the Daffodil Delight. Four down and 20 to go. Now I'm not going to bore you showing you 24 pieces of paper adhering and cutting. But I would like to show you the second round so that you'll see what goes on with that. So now we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're up to 5. And I'm going to put the adhesive on top of the designer paper that's already there. And we're going to lay number 5 down and snip it. Number 6, the line is here and here. Just a little bit. A little bit of adhesive. We're going to be able to adhere this whole thing down at the end if we need to. We've got number 6, and now we're going to 7. 7 is Regal Rose. And I've got to put Regal Rose there, not Tempting Turquoise. This is how it really goes in the craft room. So you can see I'm showing you how I really work here. It's not work, it's play. And we'll put that last piece of Daffodil Delight down. And that's our first 2 rows, and you can see how it's going to work. I'm going to stop now, fill it in, and I'll be back when it's all done. Now here I am back, and I've still got 2 rows to go. But I changed my mind about what I wanted to do with this project about halfway through, and I do that a lot in Robin's Craft Room. I decided that I had a stamped image that I wanted to show through a larger opening than that small one that would be left as the iris of this project. The image that I want to use is this butterfly from the stamp set Bold Blossom, which is in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Let's turn this over, remove the pattern sheet for now, and let's see how that butterfly fits. It fits just beautifully, so you might want to do that. Just to complete this tutorial, I'm going to go back and finish those last 2 rows. And finally, here we are, back with all of the rows completed. And what a wonderful mess this is. Oh, it's not going to be when we turn it over. If you have any areas here that you would like to tape down a little bit, you can do that with just a piece of plain transparent tape if you'd like. It's not necessary though, because these are going to be right on top of another piece of paper or cardstock, and everything will be held down just fine. And here's my finished Iris paper piece circle. Love it! I can hardly wait to use it in one of my craft projects. Here's the greeting card that I made with today's project. I trimmed the cardstock into a square and layered it to fit on a 5 1/4 inch square greeting card. The stamp in the center is from the Stampin' Up! Stamp set Tiny Tags. This stamp set has a great set of designs for using as the center of iris pieced cards. This is another card that I made with the same 2 1/2 inch circle. I used one color only in the iris fold, chocolate chip, but I used 4 different patterns. Here is another of my designs, a pumpkin shape. I'll be sharing the pattern and a tutorial for making the card in an upcoming issue of my newsletter. This is another card using the same pumpkin pattern. I embossed it with the Sizzix Spiderweb embossing folder, which I purchased through Stampin' Up! I told you in the beginning that I'd show you one of my designs that's made with just 2 colors. In this case, I used the same Tempting Turquoise and Regal Rose that I used in today's project. So you can see how you can use the same pattern to come up with lots of different designs. Thank you so much for stopping by Robin's Craft Room today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll stop by for more. Bye for now.